Hey everyone, welcome back to Beekeeping with Natalie, or welcome to if you are new. Today we're doing a video on the Apimaye box and a swarm that we caught in August. There's a saying out there that says, swarm in July, walk on by, and I've heard it a little bit, but we decided we'll go ahead and try it out and get a swarm that we caught just a few weeks ago. And so we decided we'll do it, test it out, see if they'll really make it through winter, and just kind of see how they do throughout the year. And we're going to go ahead and film the experience with it a little bit. So they're actually right now in a 10 frame here. They're in a swarm box. You can see you would typically put this on a tree and then try to catch a swarm in it, but it was just the only box that we had that had a bottom board connected to it. And so we decided to do that, and then we actually decided, let's go ahead and put it in a Apimaye box, because I want to kind of test them out a little bit. We have an Apimaye box, and somewhere in the yard here, we've used it for queen rearing before. Well, we used it this year for that, and we really liked it. We'll probably do it again next year, because queen rearing is a little bit of the kind of season where we're not sure if it's going to get cold or if it's going to stay hot. And so we want to make sure that those queens are nice and warm. It's just, there's a couple different things why we used it for that. I have a video somewhere on it. If I can find it, I'll leave the link right here so you can watch it. And we'll go ahead and put these bees into the Apimaye box, but I want to talk about this Apimaye box here. We also have some bottom boards out there. I brought one over here. It's a little dirty because it's been sitting out, but that's all right. So here's the bottom board. This is from Apimaye, and I'll leave their link in the description down below if you want to check out their website. They've got a lot of really cool features to their boxes, and this is mainly, well, we use it mainly just for pollen trapping, which I'll kind of show you how that works here with this box. You can do the same thing with this one. So the other Apimaye box that we have is a 7 frame. This one is, I believe, a 10 frame. So we'll go ahead and open it up. So they latch on the side, the lid does, which is very nice because just in case, you know, you have troubles with the lids coming off or anything like that. The whole box is also insulated too, which is a great feature, especially for like weaker hives. And since this is a late swarm, we want to try and build them up quick. We don't really have much of a flow on right now. I know we have some goldenrod that's starting, which is great. It's a little early for that, but everything was pretty early this year. So that's starting right now, and ironweed, something, I don't know how it's pronounced, something like that. We have that blooming a little too. We don't really have much of that. I'm kind of surprised we got it this year just because we don't normally get it very often or every year. So I don't know if it's going to do anything. We're not going to pull any honey from the fall flow. We might, I'm not sure though. But probably not, just because we want to give it back to the bees. Most of our hives are doing pretty good. I know like this one isn't drawing out that second box, and so we're going to feed them so that they will. We're also going to feed this one today, which I'll talk about here in a second. So here are the feeders, and so they look a little different than, like, a lot of them are either frame feeders or we use Ziplocs or buckets. That's typically what we're using. But on the Apimaye boxes, you have this feeder right here, so you just put the syrup in right here. Again, we'll feed them here in a second, well, once we move them over and everything. And so in total it's a gallon, I believe, so that's a good amount of syrup. I believe that's a bucket typically that we like to use on the hives. We've got a bunch over there. Well, we've got one on this swarm. This is the hive we're going to move over into this box. We already fed them, and so they have already started to build some comb out, which I'll show you in a second. But they've been fed a gallon of syrup. And also, we'll talk about the entrance a little bit. I've been kind of still trying to figure out the Apimaye boxes. I'm not sure exactly how all of it works because there's so many little things to them. But like, this is the entrance here. So this time of the year, this entrance is very nice because you don't have to go looking for a entrance reducer. You can just slide this and basically slide this over, and it blocks off one half of the side so they can only come in through this side, which makes it actually easier for them during robbing season. They have a lesser space to have to protect basically in the entrance there. There's also another entrance spot up here. I'm not exactly sure what this is for, maybe ventilation, something like that. I'm just gonna keep it like this. And we've got this over here. I was trying to figure out what this is. My guess is it's like a card slot, so you can kind of keep the hive updated. A lot of times we like to just write on the lids, but you might not want to write on, the bugs are very loud today. You might not want to write on this, so you can put like a card in here. I'm guessing that's what it is. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments. We'll go ahead and take these off so we can see inside. Again, trying to figure out what these were, and I think that these are frame dividers. So you just place it here and it basically, something like that. Maybe it's like this. It basically makes the frames even. I don't really know, but I think that's what these are for. So I'm not sure if it's kind of like a 9-frame spacer where you space it out and take it out, or if you just actually put it on like this. But anywho, so you can do pollen trapping with these too. I actually took it out because I don't want to do pollen trapping, because I don't really think that we have pollen coming in a whole lot, but if we do, I don't want to take it from them. We didn't do any pollen trapping this year, actually. We did some last year. We didn't do very much this year, but it actually just goes in from the back here. So I'll kind of flip this around. So it goes in this slot right here, and once you've taken it out, you want to put this in it. I'm not sure if, yeah, this will fit. That way bees can't get in or out, or anything can go in through there. And so you want to just plug it in right there. And so that's what I'm going ahead and doing. It comes with a queen excluder and all that, but I didn't bring that up with me today. So I think that's pretty much it. Make sure my smoker's still going. Just gonna kind of pack it down a little bit. This shouldn't take too long. It should be fairly easy. We'll go ahead and open this one up, open this hive up, see how they're doing. I'm probably gonna give them a pollen patty also. I'm not sure how that's gonna work with the feeders, but we'll find out a little later. I'll just give them a half of this pollen patty. And so I'm gonna take this bucket off. It seems a little full actually, which is weird. I don't know if, I'm not sure when we put those buckets on. Most of our hives has actually been taking the syrup pretty quickly. Okay, so went ahead and opened it up, and I was a little caught off guard just because they're not as big as I thought they would be, but that's okay. I think that they could probably be moved into that 7-frame Apimaye box, or just any smaller nuke box probably, just because they don't need as much space as we're giving them, but it's kind of all we have right now. And like I said, I'm kind of testing it out to see if they're going to draw it out and see if they'll build up a little bit. Okay, let's see. I want to move this box basically over here. That way that they'll start going into this box so they don't get confused, because this is going to be empty here in a second. So I'm just going to slide it over, but basically this is not drawn out a whole lot as I thought it would be. It might be 1 or 2 frames drawn out, but that's okay. Again, it's an August swarm, so I'm not expecting a whole lot. So we'll just slide this over, and then I'm going to put this right here. That way they'll start going into this box, because I'm going to move this over. I've done a couple of videos like this where I've moved them over some other hives into a different box. It's pretty easy after you get the hang of it. I'll just go ahead and put some of these in here. So these are just foundation frames that they haven't drawn out. There's a lot of these, but that's all right. Again, we're just testing to see if they will eventually draw these out. So here is a frame that they have built out a little bit. Looks like she has laid it up pretty good. I'm going to see if I can maybe try and find the queen. They're slowly starting to draw that out too, which is good. I don't see the queen on this frame. That new wax always looks so nice. So I'm going to move it over just as it is in this box. So each frame is going to go exactly where it was, unless it's a foundation frame and there's no bees on it. It doesn't really matter where you put it then. So I believe all of these actually have been drawn out. I thought that we put these frames in, but I think, well, you know what? Hang on, that's wrong. Still kind of trying to find the queen here. Okay, so basically what we did was we had one frame that was, there was just a lot of like spider webs and a little bit of old brood on the frame, and they actually cleaned it up really, really nice. I'm not sure which one it was, but like this frame looks great, and this next frame that I'm about to pull out looks good too. So they cleaned that frame up really nice, which is good. And then the rest that are drawn out, they did that. I don't know if that makes any sense, but hopefully it does. So this is a little bit of brood and eggs. Again, just putting this where it's supposed to go, next to this frame, and then pull this one out. Even though this is like 4 frames, I'll probably not find the queen because that's how it works. Yeah, so again, I'm not sure which one that frame was that was pretty dirty, but this frame also looks really good, so they definitely cleaned it up. She's got this fully laid up, which is great. It looks really nice. Okay, here she is. She's down here at the bottom. She's on the wood there. She looks beautiful. She's got a nice color to her. That's great. Go ahead and put her back in. All right, so we did find the queen, so that's good because now I know that she's in this box and I won't have to try and find her on the bottom of the box. That's happened before where she's been on the bottom of the box, the bottom board, sorry, I forgot what that was called for a second. They're also drawing this out. It looks like they're filling it with probably syrup. So she was on this side, so I'm going to be careful not to smush her when I put this frame in. Alright, so that's pretty much all the frames that they've drawn out, which is like 2, maybe 3 frames, because some of these, like this side isn't drawn out yet. I don't know how many times I've said drawn out in this video, but that's alright. So we'll go ahead and fill this up with the foundation frames now. And then there's also some bees at the bottom here. So I'll want to make sure to shake that into this box, or you can do it at the entrance. You can shake the lid at the entrance, whatever you'd prefer. Typically it's better to do it on top of like these frames. I'll probably won't do it on video because I'm really bad at shaking. But anyway, we'll go ahead and put these back together, and then I'll go ahead and put a pollen patty on, and then we'll also feed them. I didn't use the frame spacer just because I wasn't exactly sure how it worked. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it already, but I'll definitely leave Apimaye's link in the description. That way you can check their website out, just because they've got a lot of cool stuff going on. I think that they'll be at Hive Life, and so if you're going to Hive Life, definitely get some there. That's actually where we got these boxes. And so Hive Life is a great place to get some good discounts and also just be able to create some relationships with other people, just getting to know them. So kind of just space these out a little bit. And then I'm gonna put this pollen patty on. It's a whole pollen patty, and I don't think they need that, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. Maybe. There we go. And then I'll score it a little bit, that way they can get to it a little easier. We'll just lay it on top here. I'm gonna take a little extra of this paper off just because I don't think that they need that. And now we're gonna feed them, which might be kind of fun to watch because I just have a bucket that I'm using to pour into these. I don't know how it's gonna go. Anyway, so there's definitely some bees down here in the box, and again, I'll go ahead and shake them here in a second. I'll do that off camera though, which I already explained why. I think I'm gonna leave the entrance as it is. which is just one side open, I think. Yeah, so they're going down in these bottom parts right here, just because they don't have a whole lot of bees, and I don't want them to get robbed out or anything. All right, so we'll go ahead and fill these feeders. I'm not sure how well this is going to close with the pollen patty. I think that's maybe the only thing about these feeders here. Frame feeders don't have that problem, but frame feeders also take up more space. So it kind of just depends on what you'd kind of rather have trouble with. Frame feeders have been a little bit of a challenge for us this year just because we have so many hives that we're not able to take any frames out because they're filled with brood or nectar. So that's why we've been doing a lot more buckets this year. Some of those buckets. Okay, so I actually went ahead and stopped the video because I was a little confused on the feeding part. That's the only thing about these Apimaye boxes. I believe there's like an instruction book that you'll get when you get these boxes, but I don't have it with me, so I'm a little confused. But the feeding part, it has words on it, like it says syrup up top here, and there's an arrow, but I'm not sure where the arrow is supposed to face. But I've kind of gone through, and I believe it's supposed to go this way. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of just testing out my experience here and just going with what I think is right. So I'm going to flip most of these. But yeah, I'm definitely not saying that this is how you're supposed to do it, because I don't even know if that is the right way, but I think it is. And so I've got my syrup here, and I'll go ahead and fill it up. I'm going to fill both of them. See how this goes. There we go. I think the other thing about these is you want to make sure that it's pretty level, because then you're going to have the syrup kind of tipping out on one side. And we just have our bees on the ground here, which they do really good. It normally doesn't affect them. I know a lot of people would normally have questions on that. Our bees seem to do fine when we have them on the ground, and we've done that for years now. But again, I'm not saying that's how you should do it. It's just kind of what works, because after a while, it gets hard to have a sand every time, because making splits, it goes so quick that you just need somewhere to put the bees. Anyway, just put this on. Maybe. There we go. And then we'll put the lid on. I don't think there's a certain way it needs to go. And then we'll just snap it in place. And we will keep you updated on how they do. Only thing about these boxes, well, one, they're just a little bit confusing, but that might just be me just because I don't have that book. But I know it does come with one. And again, their website has a little bit more information on that too. Other thing is they're a little pricey, but you're getting a really good box. So I think it's worth it. It's just definitely something that you gotta have some thought into if you want to get a lot of them. So that's pretty much it. I think that's all I really wanted to go over today. And that's kind of what's going on in the bee yard. Hopefully you've been enjoying the videos lately. We've done a lot of reviews, we've done some interviews, a lot of mixed stuff. We have some exciting stuff coming up also. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Again, we'll keep you updated on how they do throughout the winter and just kind of tell you what they do. And another thing is we're feeding them that way that they will build it out, because this doesn't sound right, but if the bees don't make it through the winter, we'll still have drawn comb. So we're still getting something out of it. And so definitely making sure we're feeding them that way that they will fill it or draw it out. And a lot of the times, swarms tend to draw out a lot of comb. And so if the bees don't make it through the winter, we still are able to get that comb. I'll leave the link of Apimaye in the description if you want to check it out. And I think that's pretty much it for today's video. So thanks for watching. Follow along for more bee adventures and be here next time on Beekeeping with Natalie.